Hello, dear hearts. This is Jaime Goldstein, intuitive astrologer, and I am so delighted that you're here for the Bridging Sky and Earth, Embodying the Star Wisdom Summit. And I am just so deeply honored to have Anaiya Sophia here, mystic, author, and she is working on this beautiful project in the French Pyrenees that I want her to invite her to share with you about. And I was really first drawn to Anaiya from her connection to Mary Magdalene. I have a deep connection to Mary Magdalene. And when I started to tune in to some of Anaiya's teachings, it was this very big heart opening, connecting with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and Holy Sophia. And so I'm just so honored that you're here and that you'll share your wisdom with us today. She's going to be sharing on sacred body wisdom. And this is going to be such a beautiful time that we'll be spending together. So welcome, Anaiya. I'm so happy that you're here. And I would love for just to open up for you to share a little bit about what you have going on in your life right now. I know you're taking on this beautiful big project in the French Pyrenees.
Hey, Jamie. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on. It's absolute privilege to just step away from all of this painting, decorating, lifting, pulling, emptying that I'm doing on so many levels. Since the COVID pandemic, we've been here in this enormous mountain house, literally resurrecting it from the ground up. And so we have hardly interacted with how this 2-year period has been on the streets, so to speak. We've been receiving people as normal, behaving as normal, whilst digging into the deepest places imaginable. This house is it's on holy land for sure. It has a spring, it has caves, it's got an underground river, it's got a labyrinth. It was once owned by the Catholic Church. It's got a humongous crucifix on the mountain above it. It's
Wow.
got 19 bedrooms. It's got 3 sheets. It's got its own mountain. So our pandemic experience has been something quite different to everybody else, but we did not escape the grueling day-to-day ability to endure, withstand, persevere. Every system, gas, electric, water, breaking down, 33 animals as well in tow. It's been the toughest and the most beautiful and the most grateful moment of my 52 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. Well, I'm hoping I can come. I'm hoping I can come visit your B&B that you're hosting one day. I'd be so honored to come to that beautiful holy land. And I just love that. I was so inspired to invite you to the summit because the summit is being held in the energy with this beautiful divine union of the feminine and the masculine in the sky, which of course the as above so below, we're also being supported to come into sacred union with our inner feminine and masculine energy. And we've had this like 3 months in the sky that's been really supporting this coming into inner union. And so I would love to just start off by asking you some about sacred union and how can we connect with sacred union on an inner level. I know that's a big topic, but anything that inspires you in that realm.
Oh gosh, it's one of my favorite themes, and it's a lifelong theme, and it's not going anywhere. It's just getting deeper and wider and more, hopefully, integrated. I believe that sacred union between the masculine and the feminine parts of us, and the soul and the body and the human being with the divine creator, parent. So to me, there's many, many, many sacred unions. I believe the unification of all of these pairs of opposites is the red pill. If we're going to talk matrix, it is the red pill. It is that which opens the doors in our own beingness and in the whole of existence. It's also a very maturing process, because as we unify, I believe we get to see things as they really are. We get to see ourselves as we really are, the other one and the outer as things really are. And that can be a little bit shocking, a little bit disturbing. So that wisdom is needed and integrated so that we can wisely and maturely open up to how things really are. And that in itself is a huge and profound and necessary journey. And I think we know why. If we again look at this time we've just been transversing, everyone's talking as if it's over at the moment. You know, in Europe and the UK, it's like, oh, it's over. And I'm like, huh, that was quick. Astrology suggests it's not over. This could just be a little sacred pause. But yeah, we need all of our faculties restored. And sacred union is the key that opens the door to those innate wisdom faculties.
And I love that you're bringing in wisdom and, maturity here, because their Venus and Mars have been in Capricorn for some time. And that is a sign of the wise elder. It's the sign of responsibility, maturity, devotion, commitment, sacred reverence. And now they just met at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So they're moving into a new sign, but Venus is in this 19-month Capricorn cycle. And my kind of interpretation is that it is inviting us. Capricorn is, our body, our bones, our roots, to come into, to really connect with the wisdom of our bodies on this whole deeper level, to connect with the ancient wisdom within our bodies. So I love that there's this resonance with what you're sharing, with this powerful Capricorn energy that we have of maturity and wisdom and responsibility, that was coming alive to me as you were sharing.
Well, as you know, that is my star sign, Capricorn, but it's also, I would say, the phase of life I'm in.
Yeah.
So I'm 52. I went through the menopause. I started when I was 42. So I believe, hopefully, I'm through and out the other end, but I'm different. I am forever different. And yeah, this kind of wisdom, maturity, elder, starting to use word elder, is sort of appearing on the horizon, and I'm fitting in. I'm dressing into this new stage of life. But if I could just go back to your question, because that was the mature, wise answer, let's just go right back to the beginning to anyone who might be inquiring, well, what does this look like, sacred union? I got some fabulous little exercises. You can find them on YouTube, but a really good question, no, a really good introspection would be to just have a little look at how your day runs. Are you active, engaged, going forward, deciding, choosing, navigating, making things happen? And are you in balance with beauty, with rest, with joyfulness, with spontaneity, with no plan, with dance, with body, with medicine, with nature, with animals? Because probably, if you are a little being of the West, you will probably be running more on masculine energy. making things happen, showing up, profiles, social media, many, many appointments throughout the day, every day, and probably half the night. Just on it, on it, on it, which is fabulous and exciting, and I totally remember. But that is most likely strong, streamlined, diamond masculine energy. And when we're young, we can just about get away with it. But as we pass, I would say 35, which is another cycle, that little body of ours, that nervous system of ours, is going to start to sort of buckle under the fastness and the freneticness of running on masculine energy day and night. And something inside of you is going to say, hello, do you remember me? Do you have any time for me? I have no plan, no agenda. I just want to lay back and open up and reach for the unknown and do that with another one and just deepen and deepen and explore intimacy and explore the flow and the juiciness of the feminine, of the mystery, of not knowing. And yeah.
Well, you're
Of
speaking to
course.
me because I'm right at that kind of 35 age range.
Right.
I'm 33, about to turn 34 here soon. And
Right.
I've been, just like most of the West, running on very
Yes.
strong masculine energy a lot of my life. I have a very strong Mars signature in my chart with my Aries energy. I've got some Scorpio energy, also Mars ruled. And really this last year and a half, I devoted myself to the Venus mysteries and walking the Venus path and really awakening my connection with Mary Magdalene. She's been a guide for me over the last year and a half. And as you shared 35, it was like, oh, yep, that's right about when I got the call to really balance out with my feminine energy and awaken my feminine energy. So I love that you brought in that age range, because that's like right in alignment with the timing of my life.
Right. Well, the feminine energy, the feminine presence in our body is medicine. And particularly medicine for the nervous system, medicine for stress, medicine for fastness, medicine for chaos. So the fact that you actually embody feminine energy is the healing of our subtle anatomy.
Yeah. Oh,
It's,
I
it's
love that.
what
Can
we
you
need the
speak?
most.
I love that. Can you speak a little bit more to that for anyone who might not be aware of, like, what is this medicine? What does that mean?
I would say what makes the medicine, what makes the juicy nectar in the body, in the ojas, which is what's going up and down the spine,
Yeah.
is the switch in our brain. So when we're running on masculine energy, we're in our left brain and we're thinking, planning, ticking things off the list, fast, fabulous, but masculine mind abilities. When we switch over into the feminine, we switch hemispheres and we become imaginative, thoughtful, contemplative, reflective, embodied, rhythmic, juicy, alive, beautiful, free. Now, I would say, I don't know, I'm just going on insight. I would say that switch in the brain hemisphere is setting in motion a liquid response that runs down the back of the spine and into all the nadis and meridians and chakras. And the body goes, oh God, finally, finally something yummy instead of something brilliant. And that's two words I would give the masculine and the feminine. The masculine energy is brilliance. The feminine energy is yumminess.
I'll take some more of that.
Absolutely. And that little mix, I would say, makes a very healthy human body.
I love this. This is so juicy. And I feel, just hearing you speak, I feel like I'm just settling into more of the yumminess in my body, just from just from the energy of being in this space with you, what are, for those of us that are so kind of conditioned in this fast-paced, go-getter, achievement-oriented world, what are some ways we can actually slow down and
Mm.
connect to the yumminess of our feminine energy?
Well, this is the dilemma we're in the West in this age, because once upon a time there were temples like there are churches. And temples were dedicated to the yummy energy. And they were run mostly by women, but there were men around, there were temple keepers around, and these priestesses were highly trained in creating yummy energy. We're just going along with this conversation. And the priestess would use everything at her disposal to facilitate the safe arrival of that person to that realm of yumminess. Whether it was a man, a woman, or a young person, not young child, but a child who's past puberty, because it usually, always actually, involved the body. So there would be a bathing ritual to even enter the temple. A beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous, sacred, gorgeous woman would meet you at the temple, and with no words, but profound transmission, take you by the hand and lead you into one of those sort of steaming, saturated with herbs and oils, big square bath, if you think, ancient Rome, ancient Greece. And she would take you down the steps into this deep, warm, steaming water. Well, now the process has begun. Because A, you're in a bath with someone you don't know. B, this woman is so confidently beautiful, but not threatening. You cannot ignore her sensuality because it's what meets you, because she's trained to bring that as the first medicine. So, the masculine mind is, trying to think its way through this, and it simply cannot, because it is in the presence of the goddess. And that's just stage one. Having a bath is stage one. And it's all very appropriate. It's all very straight and vertical and healing. And then, you'd come out of the temple, you'd be dried off, you'd be anointed. And that in itself is a very sacred, oh, wow, what's going on? And then you'd be taken deeper into the temple, where you might meet perhaps an older woman or couple of women. And now the journey begins. Now it's time to move from one hemisphere to the other. And that can involve chant, prayer, them dancing for you, anointing, feet washing, which we've done together, or something really that includes absolutely everything, the entire body, a sacred massage, perhaps. Maybe they have to get into the psyche in some way, so a stronger form of body work. But we're talking things that we may not fully be able to remember, let alone articulate. However, we know, right? Me, you, and everyone listening, we sort of know the kinds of things that were happening in that temple. And by golly, we miss it. And by golly, we need it back. And that, I believe, is what our world is crying out for. What were those sacred practices? How on earth can we do them in integrity? Because in these last years, we've sort of seen quite a few things come up that weren't in integrity. Yeah. But I believe absolutely it's coming. It's already here. We're talking about it. This is coming back.
I
in a
love
new
this.
way.
And you're bringing up so much. I'm just having like ahas as you're talking, because where I'm living at right now in my little apartment, I do not have a bathtub. And it was like devastating for me when I got my lease here. I was like, a bathtub? How am I going to have my sacred baths without a
Yes.
bathtub here? I just have a shower. And as you're sharing about the bath ritual process, I'm like, oh, I have a Virgo South node in my chart, which is a signature of a very strong pattern of being a priestess in previous lifetimes. And I've had deeper and deeper awakenings and rememberings over the last years to come. And so what you're sharing about is the awakening and remembering has been such a journey for me. And even as a child, I was doing priestess rituals and I had no idea what I was doing. No one in my family knew what I was doing. I was diagnosed, of OCD because I was doing prayer rituals and chanting rituals, and I was moving energy around, and nobody had the languaging for what I was doing. And as I've come into my mystic and esoteric studies over the last 7-8 years of my life, I realized I was deeply, deeply connected to that past life knowing of the priestess pathway that no one around me knew that what I was doing, in the growing up in Texas, the Southern
Yes.
Baptist land here. So I
Yes.
I love what you're sharing. And even as anyone comes to my apartment, it's a sacred ritual, and people notice. They note that they're like, they come here. I have all sorts of sounds. So I have my Venus gong. I have singing
Yes.
bowls. There's always like herbs and oil anointing, and it's this whole sacred process. And I've always kind of been that way, and I really never knew why. And so I so resonate with what you're sharing about this remembering, this awakening of these ancient rites and these ancient ways. And how, if for how, what is something we can do to, would you recommend creating a sacred bath, anointing our feet? Is there, what are some things that we can do to really connect with this energy?
Mm. I'm really into sacred oils as well. Anointing, making them, smelling them always, having them all over my bed and my clothes.
Yeah.
And again, because it's using the hands, you're already going into the feminine again. Anything
Mm.
that makes with hands is feminine. Anything that thinks is masculine. So, and of course, whenever you smell an oil, you're going straight back into that limbic part of the brain. The old ancient, I touched the back of my head here because it's that section of the brain. You're instantly bypassing all those thoughts and going straight into sensation, memory. Oils can produce a lot of memory just by the scent alone. So making a sacred oil and intuiting, maybe select 3 to 5 different oils to make your own, let's call it a holy oil or a sacred oil, a unique one for you rather than something you're buying off the shelf, although you'll have to buy them off the shelf first, but then you mix and match and make a little alchemical oil. And realize that when you're inhaling the fragrance or the essence of, I would say, an angelic being. Its root, its origin is elsewhere, but you can track its presence by following the inhale and everything that inhale produces, the memories, the thoughts, the feelings, the people, the time, just and I mean, your nose is here, but your consciousness has gone back to that origin where this perfume, this aroma is actually emanating from, because we're just getting the tail end of it that's in the bottle. Its origins, impeccable origins, are elsewhere. And that in itself is a wisdom school. You could just spend 1 year with an oil and you would receive a lot of profound knowing, wisdom, knowledge, and just pure intuitive sense. So that in itself is a guru, actually.
Yeah.
So making your own oil
Mm.
for a particular intention, whether it's sensuality, wisdom, peace, truthfulness, revelation, the oils will respond. They're like crystals. They'll oh right, okay, that's what she wants, that's what he wants. Alrighty, I bring that part to the alchemy that they're intending to make. I always just put a little bit here and a little bit here before bed. Or
Mm.
I'll coat the top of my duvet so that when it's up by my nose, it's just there, just this blanket of perfume as I drop into sleep.
Oh, I love that. This sounds so yummy. I'm wanting to reach for my oils now as you're
Yes.
talking. I'm very I love oils and smells and yeah, I love that I actually just prepared an oil and calling it liquid sunshine because it
Oh,
smells like sunshine. There's all these citrusy oils and there's jasmine in it and it reminds me
yeah.
of sunshine. And so I love that you were sharing about creating intentions here.
I love the idea of aroma, scent, and sound. So with your
Yeah,
gong behind you,
yeah.
you anoint everyone who comes in and you tell them to profoundly journey with the smell whilst you're sounding in the
Oh,
background. That is just double yummy.
that is, oh my goodness. I am definitely going to be incorporating more of
Yeah.
the anointing and the oils
Yes, sound and
with the sound
scent
healing now.
journeys.
Oh my goodness. I'm actually this weekend after we're recording this, I'm offering like romantic alchemical couples sound baths this weekend, and we'll have some roses to infuse in the yumminess and they can take them
Mm,
home with them, and there'll be chocolate. And
yeah.
I did not have oils on my like what I want to offer, and I'm going to integrate some oils with this to really
Yes.
increase the beautiful alchemy of the experience. So thank you so much.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, well, I'd love to hear, and you touched on this, the magical portal of our bodies, and especially, our feminine bodies. And so there's such a the energy really for there's a lot of energy, astrological energy happening in 2022, a lot of intense energy like you spoke to, that it doesn't look like we're kind of out of this yet, but there's a beautiful energy of embodiment with Venus is
Mm,
in her 19-month Capricorn cycle. Our roots, our bones are the foundation of our body. And then the North Node, which is like the collective North Star, where we're collectively, that's like the direction of collective evolution in some sense,
mm,
has just moved into Taurus, which is one of Venus's signs, and that's her sensual, earthy, earth goddess, maiden sign in Taurus, which is all about getting into the senses, and it's about pleasure and joy and abundance. And then Uranus, the great awakener, is in Taurus. So as a North Node, our North Star comes to meet Uranus and Taurus. The energy points to the evolution is in our bodies, is actually coming into the magic of our bodies, activating the magic, the intelligence of our bodies. And so I
yeah.
would love to hear anything you have to share about how to connect with the magic portal of our bodies, and anything about the wisdom of our bodies.
Mm. There is no doubt about it. There is a very deep creative presence in our body that is fathomless. Just when you think you've got a sense of it, it changes again. Um, since the lockdown process, and having to not be with so many people so often, I needed to be able to touch back in on the temple. Because obviously, when we were all meeting and gathering, I was producing workshops all based on the temple and all sharing the rites and the rituals that I felt I had remembered, and by being with others, remembering further still. So when that came to an end, I felt, ooh, how am I gonna remember and continue to carry and emanate this energy? Because, going into a lockdown process, that's not very much like being in the temple.
Yeah.
So I produced candles and aroma and music. And because I am a yoga teacher, so I've been doing yoga the best part of 30 years. Body is something that always interests me. But I felt that yoga was a little bit too regimented and a little bit like, follow this, do this, do that, step 1, step 2. And I'm like, no, I don't want steps. I want temple. I want temple. So I started to just listen to incredible composers and choirs. And also reading up a lot on a lady called Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen. Now, she was a dancer and she had a dance troupe. And she wanted to bring more emotion through her dancers. And she was looking for processes to put them through so that more expression could come through them. So I'm reading all these books and applying it through a sort of temple lens. And I went on a ride-out exploration during those 2 years, actually, and just allowed my body to move with her promptings. What she suggested is that we are mostly front orientated. So if someone says, inhale and push your chest forward, exhale and round it off, we will be doing everything from the front of our body. And so she was giving little instructions like move from your rib cage, or move from behind your rib cage, or move from your blood, move from your lymph, move from your immune system. And with this slight change of where is the movement going to come from, a whole sort of range of being started to come to life because I'm starting to move my body in a new way. So I was like, whoa, new character, new essence, new depth, new height, new colors, new everythingness. So it's like, I have this feeling that because we have a character, it's so learnt and it's so predictable. And this character is inside the body and it's utilizing only a certain percentage of the material of what's available. But if you just put your character to one side and say, right, I'm about to go on an exploration of movement range in my body, a flipping new character shows up. And so that's what I've been calling sacred body wisdom. Because you can take a dilemma or an issue, put it into this bodily movement process, and you will get the jackpot in terms of your answer, because you're not going to you. You, the character, has been put on the side. You're going into the innate wisdom that's inside all of our bodies. So,
I love this.
There is a lot in there. But we will have to learn and trust and give ourselves permission to move in a very different way. And what's so lovely, it's not competitive, it's not athletic, it's not like Ashtanga yoga where, oh my God, I don't have the energy or don't have the flexibility. It doesn't require any of that. It just requires freedom. Can you permit yourself the freedom to move in this unknown new way?
I love that. That's so beautiful. And it's so, we have a few teachers of conscious dance and ecstatic dance that are part of the summit. So I love that. And that's been, as I've gone through my own ecstatic dance journey, learning how to get out of the conditioning of being self-aware of, what I might look like and other people's judgments, and really just getting into the movement of the body. And
Yes.
it's a truly alchemical experience that I've experienced through that process. So
Mm.
I love it. Let's all get up and take our shoes off and get barefoot on the earth
Yeah.
and dance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, do you have any other insights that you feel inspired to share about our body wisdom, how to connect to our body wisdom, how to connect to our sacred feminine essence?
Well, something interested me right at the beginning when you were speaking of Mars and Venus
Yeah.
coming into meeting again this year. Well, when you say that, to me, that says mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
And it says true mother and father, original mother and father. I don't know much at all about astrology, but I have been getting a few bits of information saying that 2022 looks rough.
Yeah.
But 2023 is a completely different ball game. So when you say Mars and Venus are coming round and coming into union, it makes me think mother and father, and it makes me think Mars and body.
Mm.
And that they're all coming into union for good and necessary and timely reasons. And that this is our sacred gateway. This is our portal. This is our upgrade.
Yeah.
If we're aware and awake and saying yes profoundly to it. So it's like our original creators are sort of swinging by again and seeing how the humans are doing and offering their parental power to us to accept perhaps the upgrade. I think we can see that some of us are saying yes to this and working hard and diligently, and others are not so much. And I don't know. I'm always hopeful that everybody gets to taste what this time is really all about. And the revolution and the evolution and the upgrade and the big stretch. Yeah. So
Oh,
thank you for giving me that imagery.
I love that. And they're spending all this time in Capricorn, which is a sign of initiation. It's sacred rites, devotion, commitment. And along the way, the asteroid goddess Vesta is with them. She's the priestess,
Mm.
and gives guidance into the priestess rites and initiations and rituals. And I just love that she's actually alongside them, kind of like guiding Venus and Mars through Capricorn. And then they're going to meet. And this has actually happened before the summit's airing. So as we're recording this, it will happen. But as you're seeing this in the summit, who's watching this will have happened already. But in February, Venus and Mars, they're first going to have their sacred union in Capricorn on February 16th. And then they're going to meet Pluto for this big initiation. Pluto's about purification,
Yes.
purging what's toxic to purify. It's really about purification, making what's unconscious conscious to purify. Pluto can be an intense energy, though. Pluto's always
Yes.
going to want to get down to the bottom of the truth, is going to drudge up the truth. So they're going to pass by Pluto together for this big purification. And then they're going to meet a second time, right as Venus, or right as this summit is being presented to the world on March 6th. Venus and Mars are going to meet at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So 0, like the degree of infinite possibility, quantum possibility. And then Aquarius, this very, Capricorn is so grounding. It's like to connect to the self-mastery, the diligence, the discipline. There's this really the sacred devotion and commitment and loyalty. And then they're going to go into expansive Aquarius, which is all, it's like, I see so much like there's the upgrade. It's almost like if we were doing the inner work as they're in Capricorn, it's like as they go to 0 Aquarius, it's like the sky is the limit. There's this huge, expansive, multidimensional evolutionary kind of energy that's coming. And I think it's really, really exciting. So I love what you're sharing is there is this, it's almost like we are all getting an opportunity, like
Mm.
for the upgrade. And it's like, are we going to hear the call or, there's like this call and it's like, are we
Yes.
going to say yes to the call?
Yeah. Yeah.
So So I love that. Any final words on or thoughts on, there is all this strong Capricorn energy with Venus in our Capricorn cycle. Capricorn is about sacred
Mm.
reverence and devotion. And you've given so many gems already, but any other final, any thoughts on like coming into sacred reverence with our bodies, to be in sacred devotion to ourselves? We live in a world, at least the Western modern world has lost sacredness and in so
Mm.
many senses. And I feel that Venus in Capricorn is calling us back to connect with the sacred reverence of our bodies, to be in devotion to the holiness of our bodies, to really
Mm.
bring back the sacredness that's been just so, as there's been so much oppression of the feminine energy, sacredness, has kind of gone out the window in our
Mm.
society. And yeah, how can we on our own in our way, like bring that back to our bodies?
Mm. Something I'm doing a lot recently and love when I remember is, let's just say you're having a really big dilemma. You're in the dark night of the soul. It's suffering, it's thoughts, it's emotions. If we could connect to our breath in that moment, let's just say you've just climbed into bed after the most grueling day imaginable, and your head is just spinning. Take a few breaths. If you can, place hands on body. And breath and hands is already a few steps towards the feminine. And just ask yourself from that place, now that you've got your hands on your body, now that you're breathing consciously, is there a presence in this dark night with me? Is there anyone in this turmoil, in this suffering with me? Keep your hands on your body, keep breathing deeply. You will most likely notice that indeed there is a presence right in the eye of the storm with you. Whether that presence is us or whether that presence is some mysterious other, if you recognize that there's something else in this storm with you, then that something or someone else is also very cleverly, very perfectly, very timely, not actually sat there doing nothing, but very skillfully pulling you through the dark night. And to, if you can, to just have trust in that. The dark night is timely, purposeful, skillfully administered, has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a very sacred presence is taking you through it, just as sacred as those priestesses in the temple.
Oh, I'm getting chills. And I think that so many of us have had those experiences over the last, 2 years that we've been in. And so that's such timely wisdom. So it's just such an honor to have you here, Anaiya. And I would love to open up space for you to share about any teachings, sacred offerings, anything that you're sharing that you would that those that are watching can connect with you. And I know you have sacred oils and so many beautiful things.
Well, you can just pop along to the website, which is anaiyasophia.com. It's all there. But I think, of course, my big baby at the moment is this new property that my mum and I and my husband
Wow.
have brought together. And It's going to be, it is already, but the great vision is that this is going to be a mystery school where we can come and experience everything we've conversed about today. Because it's not what I'm saying, the land in itself, this little southwest corner of France, absolutely drenched in Mary Magdalene energy, mystical energy, Cathars, Druids, Celts, you name it, they've all come here for a reason. There's something about the French Pyrenees that the mystical, occult, esoteric groups absolutely gravitate towards. So I want this big old place to be a mystery school where we actually go off to the locations and spend the night there. Let the location take us on a journey. You know, I'll be there in the background telling a few tales, but let the land take us on our vision quest. That's what I hope you guys, you gals can find a way to get to the mountains.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be the first one to sign up.
Yay!
Oh, I love that. Well, oh my goodness, what a beautiful vision. And I'm just getting like elated with chills as you're sharing about that. I've always been drawn to the south of France after I really connected with Mary Magdalene and spent time with studying Mary Magdalene and also having her as a direct guide for myself as well. And so I love the connection. I know the moment I saw you, probably before I even heard you say anything, I just felt that connection to you. And that's why I had to sign up for your offering, because I definitely felt that Mary Magdalene connection to you.
Yeah, likewise.
Aww.
You have a very angelic feel about you.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a true honor to receive from you. And so I'm so grateful to be here with you. Thank you all so much who are watching. We received so many gems from you, Anaiya, on how to kind of flip the switch and get into the yumminess of our bodies, our sensuality, our feminine energy. And it's just so in alignment with what the astrology is telling us is the medicine to get through this really, what could be a challenging year, which, not to bypass that, but it does look like the feminine, the embodiment, that's the medicine to kind of navigate through this portal, through this time. And so it's just such a blessing to have you here. And if you're watching, just look right under the video. I'm going to have all sorts of links. Anaiya's website that you can click on and go to and visit and see her beautiful offerings. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see everyone in our next video. Bye, everyone. Lots of love to you all.